It's finally happening. The vibration you've been mistaking for anxiousness is actually a summons, a calling that has been moving through your spine for months. Quiet as a footstep in a temple, then louder as thunder on the horizon. September 19th is not a casual date you can file away. It is a celestial audit, a blood-lunar-planetary portal that rips the veil and asks you to answer with nothing but your undiluted truth. You feel it when you wake. The air tastes like metal, like the moment before lightning splits a tree. You feel it when you speak. Words that used to slide off your tongue now land like coins in a hollow, echoing back questions you can't ignore. This is personal because it was meant to be. The cosmos did not throw this day at the world at random. It selected you, or you selected it, in a contract your soul remembers. You are being initiated, not punished. The people you trusted are about to reveal their true currencies: loyalty, fear, hunger, or devotion, and you will be forced to decide which currencies you will allow into your field. This initiation will cut like a surgeon's scalpel, precise, clean, necessary. If you have been awake in the small hours, if you have felt the tug that made you walk away from dinners early or pause before you texted someone back, that tug is your survival instinct sharpening. This message arrives like a grain of hot iron. Dropped into your palm, it will either brand you or burn away what doesn't belong. Short bite. If your bones are buzzing, do not ignore the message. Short bite. Not every echo of love is actually love. Whole-bis. There is a truth beneath the truth I will show you later. A look you will see in another's face that will settle everything. Keep listening. The planet lineup on September 19th is arranged like a council, and these are not gentle. Judges. Imagine planets as elder sentries, leaning forward to watch the small drama of your life. Their light will act as a lens, bringing hidden contracts into sharp relief. People you thought were anchors will wobble. Promises you relied upon will show the fine print you missed. The cosmos is staging a trust audit, not to humiliate, but to clarify the ledger of your life. You will discover who has been using your generosity as fuel, who has been wearing your name like a uniform, and who arrived with intentions as thin as tissue. This is the moment where the universe asks you, who do you give your last word to? And the answer must come from your throat, not your fear. You are being asked to choose inner sovereignty over external comfort. This will feel unfair, because initiation often does, but unfairness is not the same as wrongness. You have been prepared for this by smaller betrayals, the little misalignments that left you hollow and asking questions. Now the test is scaled up. Greater intimacy, greater clarity, greater opportunity to reclaim yourself. Short bite. A betrayal that arrives in daylight is a mercy. Short bite. Choose your next yes like you choose a crown. There's a layer beneath this council's verdict, a private map of exit routes. The universe will hand you if you can keep quiet long enough to receive it. You have been marked as chosen, because you feel beyond what the obvious reveals. You carry frequencies that make the world tremble, not because you are special in the way the world admires, but because you are accountable in a way the world fears. Those who are chosen are often those who have already hurt, who already looked into the maw of disappointment and returned with a scar that reads, I will not forget again. This is your credential. That is why the cosmos tests you now, to see whether your wounds have taught you discernment or merely numbness. The test will be intimate and it will be close enough to smell. Confidence is returned as gossip, intimacy converted to leverage, laughter used as a cover for teeth. Your chosen status means you are on the front line of spiritual refinement. You are the metal being forged until the impurities rise to the surface and burn away. Expect no less. Expect that someone you trusted to know your soft places will be the one who presses them to see if they bleed. Expect the world to hand back your own language to check if you will recognize it. Short bite. Chosen doesn't mean spared. It means refined. Short bite. You were selected to finish what you started before birth. Stay aware. There is a clandestine kindness hidden in the way this test will end, and I will tell you how to meet it. This day will feel like a spiritual chem lab where compounds separate. Truth sinks to the bottom. Illusion floats to the top. You will see patterns unspool. Small betrayals that once looked isolated will reveal themselves as a thread running through years of exchanges. The person who flips will not always snap into villainy with a dramatic scream. Often the betrayal is softer, a shrug where there used to be care, a joke that lands like a stone, I forgot and is really a choice. That is the cruelty of it, the slow uncoupling that tricks you into forgiving until you cannot tell forgiveness from self-erasure. Your heart will want to heal but breaks your trust. Your sovereignty will ask you instead to listen to the irritation in your spine. You will be tempted to explain, to make amends, to smooth the waves so you can sleep. Do not rush to balm. Patience is a tool. The portal on September 19th is surgical. It divides precisely so you can sort. Short bite. Not every wound wants your apology. Short bite. Don't fix what's not yours to repair. And beneath this neat division, there is a quieter test, whether you will stand in your truth when it costs you relationships. I will show you how to answer that test without shame. Make no mistake. This is a call to initiation, not isolation. You are being prepared to move into a new orbit where allies are rarer and more luminous, where conversations are weighty and currency is authenticity. The people who remain after September 19th will not be more numerous, but they will be truer. This is why you must be warned now, because those who sleepwalk into the portal comforted by routine, convinced that trust is a default setting, will be found wanting when the audit begins. Those who have already taken the lonely path of inner listening will walk through with their power intact, like a lit torch in a cave where others stumble. You are allowed to grieve what falls away. Grief is an altar. But do not confuse grief with failure. You are not losing your tribe. You are shedding an old skin to reveal a body that can carry the new. Short bite. Grief is the toll for growth. Short bite. The chosen are not immune. They are accountable. Hold this near. There is a final, tender way the universe will reward those who choose solitude over false comfort, and I will reveal how to claim that reward when you're ready. Here's how it will begin. Not with fire, not with thunder, but with a whisper wearing your voice. Someone you trust will parrot back your own words, but fractured, bent, rearranged until they no longer belong to you. It will feel like staring into a mirror that was once whole, but has now been cracked and glued together by a careless hand. The image looks familiar, but the fracture lines keep drawing your eye, distorting the reflection until you wonder if you've lost your own face. This is betrayal energy in its earliest form. Not yet an open wound, but a distortion, a mimicry. A friend repeats something you confided in them, but their tone makes it sound ridiculous. A colleague echoes your idea in a meeting, but dresses it as their invention. Even a lover mirrors your phrases, but with a strange, hollow timbre, like someone trying on your clothes without understanding their weight. That hollow echo is not an accident. It is the cosmos tapping you on the shoulder, whispering pay. Attention! Not every voice that echoes yours is aligned with yours. Short bite. When your words return to you twisted, it is the universe warning you. Short bite. The cracked mirror is not broken. It is showing you the fracture. This is the first flare of September 19th. And ignore the signal. Then, the mood flips. Someone you thought steady, a constant presence in your life, begins to shift like a tide that no longer keeps rhythm with the moon. Their laughter, once warm, turns brittle. Their patience, once abundant, evaporates at the smallest spark. You notice the way their body stiffens when you succeed, the way their silence lengthens when you shine. Betrayal energy is sneaky because it doesn't always arrive with cruelty. Sometimes it's a withdrawal, a dimming. Your joy exposes their shadow. Their smile tightens. Their voice changes pitch. Their eyes don't follow yours. You may think, maybe I'm imagining this. Maybe I'm too sensitive. You're not. This is the karmic field shifting under your feet, showing you where the cracks already were. Short bite. Jealousy wears the face of love until the portal forces it to confess. Short bite. If their joy for you feels heavy, that's not joy. That's hunger. The cosmos uses these flips to see if you'll excuse energy that weakens you. or if you'll recognize the storm in their silence. You share a dream that woke you at 3 a.m., still sweating with its images with someone you believe safe. The next day, you overhear them retelling it as if it was their own vision, their own prophetic fire. You feel your chest drop, not from vanity, but from violation. They didn't just steal words, they stole meaning, your sacred encounter with the unseen. This is betrayal energy, death disguised as familiarity. It leaves you dizzy, unsure if you imagined a dream, or if you even told them in the first place. That doubt is the weapon. Short bite. Betrayal doesn't always take your body. Sometimes it takes your story. The lesson? Guard the visions that still burn in your chest. The cosmos is reminding you, not everyone who smiles at your revelations is ready to hold their weight up the mentor you once admired. The one you trusted to pull you closer to the light suddenly shifts the contract. They begin asking not for your growth, but for your loyalty. They hint that questioning them is betrayal, that your intuition is arrogance. Their words are sugar, but their eyes don't match. You catch it in a glance, a flash of possession, not guidance. This is karmic theater, teachers becoming tyrants, wisdom curdling into control. On September 19th, these masks will slip with startling speed. You're not meant to fall for them again. You are meant to stand, even if your voice shakes, and say, I hear my own soul louder than I hear you. Short bite. A guide who fears your independence was never a guide. Short bite. Mentorship that demands loyalty is not light. It's a leash. This is a rehearsal for your sovereignty. The ally who held your hand through storms suddenly begins to chip away at your certainty. They say you're imagining things when your body screams otherwise. They dismiss the signs you've been seeing, the numbers, the dreams, the synchronicities, with a laugh that tastes of condescension. Gaslighting is the cruelest betrayal because it asks you to betray yourself. And yet, this is the exact arena the cosmos is testing. Will you fold your intuition into silence just to keep their approval? Or will you declare your knowing, even when no one validates it? September 19th is designed to drag this test out of the shadows. It is not about them. It is about you. Short bite. Gaslighting trains you to hand your power away. Short bite. When your body says no and their words say yes, trust your body. This is the initiation. Learning that discernment is the new currency of survival. Now watch for the serpents in priests' robes, the fake healers who walk in with oil, soft music, and a vocabulary of salvation. They will smell like incense and certainty, and they will insist they can carry your pain for you if only you hand them the map to your wounds. At first they soothe. They name your hurt and it feels like relief. But listen, a healer who asks for secrets is currency, who demands access before earning trust, who subtly redirects your story into their narrative. This is not a conduit, it is a conduit for theft. They will halo themselves with credentials, testimonials, social proof, and then quietly reassign your suffering as evidence of their power. You will feel lighter after their words, and later you will discover that what they whooshed away was actually your warning system. That's the trick. They sell you silence and call it peace. Lovers, too, will shift like weather. Someone who once loved the small, unglamorous parts of you will begin to critique them. The hands that once loved your scars will now point at them like evidence of incompetence. They'll call it growth. They'll call it honesty. But it will feel like you're a steady wearing away of the ground beneath your feet. Old shadows, exes, unresolved friendships, family legacies will reappear like old debt collectors, not to reconcile, but to test whether you've truly paid attention to your boundaries. They will show up at moments of vulnerability, smiling, as if nothing has changed, while their presence tightens your chest. These are not coincidences. These are choreography. The universe staging the same scene with different actors to see how you respond. Short bite. A healer who profits from your silence is a thief. Short bite. If love critiques until you shrink, it is not love. Keep this in your pocket. There is a precise way to call these actors out that preserves your dignity and detaches their power. I will give you that language soon. You will feel the uncanny deja vu of seeing the same lie in new clothing. Someone parrots your gestures in public, copying your rhythm so precisely you think they rehearsed in private. A coworker uses your phrase in front of the boss and receives praise you were denied. A sibling suddenly knows the exact thing to say to make you doubt the memory of your own boundaries. These small erosions stack. Betrayal's genius is patience. It doesn't always erupt in feverish drama. More often, it seeps in between the stitches of your life. A late text ignored, a promise delayed, a joke that lands like rubble. You will begin to question whether you interpreted their kindness correctly, whether your sensitivity is a flaw. Don't fall for that inversion. Sensitivity is not a defect. It is your radar. And when the radar starts to scream on September 19th, you will need to honor it, not mute it to placate someone else's discomfort. The karmic actors will press you gently at first. A word here, a look there, to test whether you will. Surrender your boundaries for the comfort of belonging. This is the cosmic litmus test. Will you trade the small humiliations of loyalty for the fierce glory of truth? Short bite. Small cuts become fatal if you ignore them. Short bite. Belonging at the cost of your boundaries is exile in disguise. Remember, there is a ritual of reclamation that undoes these micro-betrayals without creating dramatic fallout. It is subtle, sovereign, and I will teach it. Now let's turn inward, because the most reliable detection system you have is your own body. Truth speaks for the physiology you can learn to read. When a person, place, or promise is aligned with you, your chest loosens, your breath finds its natural rhythm, and your throat opens like a gate. When something is false, you will often feel constriction, a tightness in the throat like someone has thumbed a lid closed, a coldness in the belly as if your organs are packing to leave, a prickling behind the eyes that is not grief but alarm. Pay attention to these micro sensations. They are the first, most honest translators of the soul. Practice this now. When someone says something that makes you uneasy, stop and scan. Where? Do you feel it? How does it change as you breathe? The answer is rarely nothing. Also, notice the quality of your dreams. Are you dreaming of rooms with doors that won't open? Are there repeating faces who offer you flowers only to take them away? These dream motifs are not cinematic fluff. They are rehearsal tapes for waking life. Short bite. Your body is the original oracle. Short bite. Throat tightness is a truth you cannot afford to ignore. There is a deeper exercise I teach my initiates, a 5-breath diagnostic that zeroes in on the truth of any exchange. Practice it now, silently, and you will begin to see how September 19th is less a date and more a muscle memory being called into action. Numbers, sounds, tiny synchronies will begin to click like a code. You will see repeating digits on clocks. Get the same song 3 days in a row, overhear a sentence in a cafe that answers a question you haven't spoken. These are not coincidences. They are the universe's Morse code. Learn to decode it. If you see a sequence 11, 11, 222, 777, don't shrug and move on. Pause. What question were you about to ask? Which person's name was on your tongue when the sequence appeared? The repeated numbers are like an emergency broadcast. Pay attention, because a truth will arrive packaged in ordinary moments. Another diagnostic, throat pressure that resolves when you set a boundary. If you say, I need space, and your throat relaxes as if a knot was untied, that's confirmation. If the pressure remains, you're entangled in someone else's story. Finally, observe tactical dreaming, the dream that wakes you at exactly 3 a.m. Urgent is sticky, imprinted with a person's face. Take the face seriously. These signals are your operational map through the portal. Short bite, synchronicity, is a breadcrumb trail, not a coincidence. Short bite, if a number repeats, your soul is trying to text you. Keep track. Collect these signs in a small book. Over time, they will make an atlas you can follow when everything else seems erased. Above all, cultivate the sacred practice of solitary listening. There's a hunger in you to resolve things loud and fast, to call the person, to fix the rupture, to smooth the narrative so that sleep returns. Don't. the cosmos asks for silence. Because silence strips away the audience that gives liars cover, alone, you can hear the timbre of truth. Alone, your spine remembers its original alignment. Set a daily practice, 20 minutes in the morning without phones. Without music, with your hands on your lap and your eyes closed. Ask one question. Is this person a gift or a test? Then wait, not for an answer in words, but for the soft release, or the tightening in your chest. This is the way the chosen listen, not for confirmation from others, but for confirmation from the field of their own body. Short bite. Solitude sharpens truth. Short bite. If you can't hear it alone, it's not ready for you. There is a paradox here. To survive the relational storms of September 19th, you must practice being alone in a crowd. Learn to carry your silence like a blade and your solitude like a throne, and you will pass the initiation unscathed. Got dreams. It will grow louder in the days leading up to September 19th, almost as if the subconscious knows it is the dress rehearsal for the main event. You may see faces of people you haven't spoken to in years. You may find yourself walking through old homes or schools where nothing looks quite the same. Pay attention to who shows up and how they behave. In these visions, allies may suddenly wear enemy faces, or someone you fear may suddenly extend. A gift. Don't dismiss these reversals. They are previews of the trust flips waiting for you in waking life. A dream where your closest friend hands you a glass of water that tastes like ash is not random imagery. It is a soul-coded warning. Another dream where an ex sits calmly at your table, uninvited, reveals which karmic debts are circling back. For one last knock. Record them, sketch them, breathe them into memory. The betrayal that would blindside you in waking life looks obvious in dream time, because there the masks fall faster. Short bite. Dreams rehearse the betrayals before they arrive. Short bite. Pay attention to what they hand you in dreams. It reveals what they'll take in life. Trust this nocturnal stage because it arms you for the daylight confrontation. Synchronicities will sharpen until they feel like cosmic neon signs. You will overhear a stranger speaking the exact sentence you needed to hear, and your skin will prickle with confirmation. You will see a phrase on a billboard that answers the prayer you whispered only hours before. A lyric will repeat itself in your head and then emerge from a car radio as you pass by, too exact to dismiss. These are not accidents. They are the universe intercepting your timeline, placing markers so you do not drift off course. On September 19th, betrayal energy will try to confuse you, to drown you in self-doubt, but synchronicity will act as the rope pulling you back to shore. Your job is to notice, not rationalize. Write down each occurrence, even if it feels silly. Later, when you reread them, you'll see the map your higher self laid out. Short bite. Synchronicity is the cosmos, screaming in whispers. Short bite. Ignore the signs and you'll mistake danger for devotion. Let these breadcrumbs lead you. They will point toward the faces you can trust and the ones you must release. This is why I insist. Listen alone. There is a reason this video finds you in solitude, not surrounded by chatter. Silence is not empty. It is dense with truth. When you are alone, you hear the frequency shifts that crowds muffle. In solitude, you recognize the tremor in someone's voice when they lie. You recognize the energy drain after a single text exchange. Alone, you learn that what you once called paranoia was actually prophecy. If you can sit with yourself without reaching for distraction, you will start to hear your inner counsel as clearly as if it spoke aloud. This is the state you must cultivate before September 19th, because when the portal opens, noise will increase. Arguments, temptations, invitations, distractions, all designed to scatter your focus. The chosen ones must hold their silence like a blade in a battlefield, unsheathing it only when absolutely necessary. Short bite. Silence is a weapon disguised as peace. Short bite. Alone, you're not weak. You are sovereign. Remember, the test isn't whether others betray you. The test is whether you betray yourself by ignoring the silence that tells you the truth. Now. Tactics. Energetic hygiene is non-negotiable in this season. Before September 19th, begin a daily clearing practice. Visualize a waterfall of pure light pouring over you, rinsing every cord, every hook, every unseen attachment out of your field. As it washes down, speak aloud, only truth may enter my space. All falsehood dissolves now. Do not whisper it, command it. Your voice shapes energy faster than your thoughts. Pair this with a physical gesture. Shake your hands, stomp your feet, roll your shoulders. Energy clears through movement. Burn herbs if you are called sage, cedar, or even incense you resonate with. If none of that feels aligned, simple. Breath will do. Inhale deeply, hold, exhale with force, imagining smoke leaving your chest. The key is intention. Ritual does not need ornate tools. It requires clarity and conviction. Short bite, your words are spells. Speak them with spine. Short bite, energy obeys movement. Clear yourself daily. These small daily practices build a fortress inside you. So when the storm of September 19th hits, you do not crumble. Protect your space like it is holy ground, because it is. Every room you enter carries memory. Every object vibrates with the energy of its use. On September 19th, you will need to strengthen your environment as much as your body. Begin now. Imagine a golden sphere surrounding you, radiating from your chest, extending 3 feet in all directions. This sphere is not rigid like glass, but alive like fire. Nothing false can penetrate it without being burned. When you feel someone tugging on your energy, when you sense envy or manipulation in the room, visualize this shield intensifying. Whisper or think, you cannot cross this field without love. Repeat it until your skin tingles. Notice how quickly masks slip when faced with sovereignty. Also, cleanse your physical space. Open windows, light candles, rearrange objects so the room feels renewed. These actions anchor your spiritual defenses into the material world. Short bite. Your home is an altar. Treat it as such. Short bite. A golden field around you burns falsehood before it reaches your skin. With this, you are no longer at the mercy of betrayal. You are the architect of your sanctuary. Your voice is a weapon, and September 19th will test whether you wield it or surrender it. Too often you soften your tone to keep the peace, to avoid tension, to preserve relationships already rotting at the edges. But the throat is where sovereignty lives, and when you withhold truth, you suffocate yourself. Begin practicing now. Say no without apology. Say stop without explanation. Say I know without proof. Notice how your spine straightens when you do. Your tone is not just sound, it is frequency. The quiver in your voice is not weakness. It is energy adjusting to truth. With practice, the quiver will fade, and your words will strike like lightning. Brief, undeniable, cleansing. On September 19th, you will be asked to speak when silence would be safer. And your answer must come from the throat that refuses to be owned. Short bite. Your tone is a throne. Sit in it. Short bite. When you speak truth, your voice carries more voltage than any lie. Journal everything. Don't trust your mind to hold the patterns, because memory is soft clay in the hands of betrayal energy. Write down your suspicions, your dreams, the strange looks, the repeated numbers. Draw symbols, sketch faces, scribble phrases that sting. Later, when you reread, the patterns will scream at you. This practice is not just record keeping. It is spell work. Ink is alchemy. Once you put the truth on paper, it stops being vapor and becomes stone. And when you are unsure, use the ask and wait technique. Write your question at the top of a page. Then wait for the answer to arrive. Through dreams, through overheard words, through a sudden body sensation. When it does, return to the page and record it. Over time, your journal becomes your grimoire, your private gospel, the book of evidence you can consult when gaslighting tries to scramble your certainty. Short bite. Ink turns intuition into evidence. Short bite. A written truth cannot be erased by another's lie. The stakes are immense. If you pass this test, you will feel it in your bones, the unlocking, the sudden rush of clarity. Your throat will vibrate like a bell that cannot be unrung. You will experience what mystics call spiritual promotion, an acceleration into timelines where your mission sharpens, where your allies are rare but unmistakably true, where your presence feels like a storm people either honor or flee. Your body will finally exhale, relieved of the cords it carried for years. You will notice your voice landing differently, your dreams growing lucid, your opportunities aligning like magnets. Passing this test means you rise, not just above betrayal, but into a frequency where betrayal can no longer follow. Short bite. When you pass, chains fall and your voice becomes thunder. Short bite. The test is not the betrayal. The test is whether you choose truth over comfort. But if you fail, if you cling to masks, if you trade your knowing for their approval, you recycle karma. You loop the same lesson until exhaustion wears you hollow. Failure looks like waking up heavy, like dragging yourself through days, or nothing nourishes you. It looks like replaying conversations in your head, asking what you could have said differently, while your mission waits untouched. It looks like letting someone dim you until your own fire feels suspicious. The cost is not eternal damnation, but it is lost time. And time is the one currency the cosmos does not refund. Recycled lessons mean recycled pain, recycled doubts, recycled silence. You cannot afford it. Not now. Not when the portal is this precise, this mercifully brutal, this designed to cut cords you never could by choice. Short bite. Failing the test costs time, the most sacred currency. Short bite. If you ignore the knife, the wound will repeat. Chosen one. This is your benediction. September 19th is not punishment. It is the unveiling. When the masks fall, when betrayal. Energy rises like smoke. Remember, you are not being abandoned. You are being crowned. You will stand in the fire and realize it does not consume you. It forges you. Walk into that day with your throat open, your journal ready, your shield of light intact, your silence sharpened. Do not fear the faces that change. Fear only the temptation to betray yourself by pretending not to see. The world will ask you, in whispers and in shouts, who are you really? Answer first, answer fierce, answer true. For kings and queens do not wait for permission to speak. They declare, and the world adjusts. And so I leave you with this line to etch into your spirit on September 19th. The crown will be invisible, but the chosen will feel its weight. The shift you've been feeling deep in your marrow. The vibration that has haunted your dreams and stalked the silence between your thoughts is no longer a whisper, it is a roar. For months, maybe even years, you've sensed it without proof. The sense that something was approaching. That the ground beneath trust itself was growing thinner, weaker, brittle like old glass. And now the date has arrived like a blade striking stone, September 19th. This is not an ordinary day. Not just a marker on your phone calendar. Not something you can scroll past and forget. No, this is the day the cosmos itself stages an intervention. A blood-lunar-planetary portal bursting open to reveal the hidden contracts of your life. On this day, the energies aligned above you will reach down with surgical precision and demand one question. Who do you really trust? And the answer cannot be rehearsed, it cannot be borrowed, it cannot be faked. If you are here hearing these words in the privacy of your own heart, it is because your soul signed up for this briefing before you were even born. You are one of the chosen ones, not in the sense of superiority, but in the sense of responsibility. You have been carrying frequencies that others cannot yet recognize. You've been sensing danger in familiar faces, and you've wondered if you were crazy, paranoid, or broken. You are not. You were right. On September 19th, the veil tears. Friends become strangers. Comfort turns into test. Trust mutates into the sharpest form of danger, not because you are being punished, but because the universe wants to make sure you can no longer confuse loyalty with love, nor obligation with alignment. The time of false security is over. The portal is opening, the karmic ledger is exposed, and every unspoken contract is about to be reviewed. This message, this exact moment, is your anointing into awareness. Listen carefully, because the warning is both a lifeline and a weapon. If you ignore it, you will stumble blind into the storm. If you hear it, truly hear it, you will walk through fire and not burn.